Hello, everyone. Welcome to Rise of Patience, and this is a separate series of one versus one standard games between Mac versus Kaerunohito. Or I know that he's an old player. Kaerunohito is Helen. Helen was so at the time when I was a newbie, I remember people used to hail Helen because he was one of the top players, or even the top player in Rise of Nations. So I will, just for the ease of pronunciation, I'll call him Helen. So they went for a random land map and they ended up with Australian outback. In Australian outback, there is a single main land and it's surrounded by water from all sides. We have seen some really nice games between Mac and Red Bull, and I have uploaded all of them. And the reason I'm uploading so many games of Mac because I was sent his replays by one of the players on Facebook. So if you want any of your games to be covered by me, if you want it to be commentated and you want an opinion, please send them to me on Facebook. I'm right there. You can even post a drive link in the comments and I'll download those games. And if they are good enough, I will post them on my YouTube channel. So this seems to be an expert game in standard. Looks like the Roman player Mac has gone science and commerce, a good strategy in Australian outback, because you want to make the use of all those fishes. On the other side, this is quite strange. Helen has decided to go for two civics. He does not want water yet. While I believe Persians are more suitable for water tax because they get the taxation upgrade after civic level 1 automatically. So if he was any other nation, he would get plus 10 of these two resources from a rare, but Persians would get plus 12. Similarly, he would also get a plus 12 of wealth instead of plus 10. That's a 20% more resource benefit. So I'm assuming Helen has something in mind. And Mac discovers the city, but there's nothing he can do about it. He does click on Civic because he wants to get his city really fast before he gets all restricted to his area. Meanwhile, he has four fishing ships. Shipping fips. And so it's obvious you cannot expect Helen to have a nice economy. He just spends so many resources on cities, but I won't say he's far behind. What I'm interested to know is why he would go to civic initially. So one of the reasons that I believe is because if you your taxation or the amount of wealth you get from trade depends on how much land you have covered, and Persians get automatic caravans, right? So if you have a large amount, so he has 48% of the total territory covered. That means he's going to start with a lot more trade income than his Roman counterpart. But the problem is the Romans already get plus 2. So Romans don't actually need that well. They got plenty. He's getting plus 10 from each of his city. He's getting plus 10 from each of the fish. So he has 5 fishing ships. And he also has a market. So that combines to 80 wealth income. That's one of the highest. I don't know any other nation who can have such high wealth in the beginning unless they have more fishing ships. So Romans is hands down the most wealth heavy nation in ancient age. From classical, they are only superseded by the Incas because Incas get metal and wealth from their mountains. So that's just an OP civilization. That's literally one of the 3 benefits that they have. I think the other benefits are increased wealth commerce cap, and they get a refund every time the units die. But that wealth collection from their mines, it makes them too overpowered. I mean that advantage alone is enough to make them one of the best civilizations in the game, assuming they're allowed to survive for long enough. Because Inca are weak in the beginning, they until they start mining that wealth, they have no significant power. So if you see your opponent as Inca, you should rush him. That's the best option. Or do not let him get amass all that wealth. From Helen, we see a senator research. His eco is still not that good, and it looks like it's going to be a booming game from Mac. He's trying to fill both of these universities with scholars, and he's got an amazing wealth income. There's a third city coming from Mac. And Helen here is using relics. So yeah, let's look at the rare resources on both the sides. On Helen's side, we have citrus. Citrus is a really nice rare to have on a water map. It's interesting to see that Helen has still not started any fishing. So with citrus, you get automatic healing on the seas, and that really helps in naval battles. And even if you have fishing ships that were slightly raided, because they'll heal back to their original health point eventually. Then there's wool. Wool is an amazing rare to have initially because of the cheap villagers. And from this point on, Helen is of course going to produce a lot of villagers, and each of them is going to be cheaper thanks to wool. Then relics. I believe relics is one of the best booming rares in the game because it provides the plus 20 normally plus 20 knowledge income straight away. That's equal to spending or creating 4 scholars in the beginning. And 4 scholars would cost you at least 120 to 140 wealth. So you're getting all that benefit with just a merchant. There starts the raid from Mac. What I really like about Mac in all these games is he has been very wise to use the water effectively, and he also makes sure that he's raiding his opponent on water on at the earliest time possible. That's a really good aspect, and he is also raiding. He has also been raiding his opponents on the land, as we saw in one of his games with Red Bull on Warring State. So this makes him a really versatile player. He can keep up with water and land at the same time. Although I don't think he makes the best use out of his economy. He can always do better. You can see here, Helen has an awesome economy. I think all Helen wants to do right now is to max out that food and wood. On the other side, Mac has a great wealth and knowledge income. His knowledge income is at least 3 times more than Helen's. But of course, that's because Helen lost the relics. Is he going to replenish that? He should be replenishing that. And a tower here would be good as well. The other rare resource that Helen has is obsidian. Obsidian can be useful if you're going for a lot of archers, or if you plan to protect your city using towers. So each arrow is going to have added attack bonus. On Mac's side, he has Amber. Amber is a decent rare. It gives you cheap conversion rates when you want to sell or buy your resources. It's a great addition to your to inventory when you're Nubians, because Nubians already get some advantage with cheaper buying and selling, and with Amber it's better. Oh, he is going to lose those. He just forgot. Oh no, he did not forget. He will lose those. He will. That's so close. He just managed to save them. That was 96% bribing completed. And finally, we see raids coming from Helen's side. I don't think Mac should let it get sniped, because yes, he will garrison them. So advice for newbies: if you're trying to protect a rare resource, and if you want a tower next to it, you should put the tower right next to it without leaving any space between. That allows the merchant to quickly get inside the tower without having to first unfold and, or what was that thing called, pack, without having to pack and go inside. So that time for packing is usually enough to get him killed. Right now, when it came outside, I think now there is a gap between these merchants. So if this gets raided again, it's not going to. So yeah, you can see that now. Mac is trying to get this merchant in a position so that it's very close to the tower and cannot be raided easily. Nice set of raids from Mac. He has been sending unupgraded heavy infantry to make sure Helen's resources are being raided constantly. This way, he's making sure Helen does not, first, he does not utilize any of these resources for too long, and he's now going for relics. Helen is a little bit late. Thank God he is a little bit late, else he would have lost that merchant. So yeah, by denying your opponent the rare resources, you are essentially wasting all the resources he spent on creating that merchant, and you're also making sure he does not get the benefit out of that rare resource. So it's one of the pro strategies. You would always find advanced players going for merchant raiding all the time. And I do not see that Helen has sent upgraded heavy ships to raid Mac, and Mac does not have any upgrades coming, but Mac is close to going for gunpowder age while Helen is not. I don't understand why Helen is not sending an archer here. It's just a nice, it's a good defensive move because Mac has been sending heavy infantry all over the place. All he needs to do is send an archer here, and he would be safeguarding this relics. And relics makes a big difference in the whole game, because if you constantly have that 24 of wealth income coming in, you will have you're more likely to surpass your enemy in terms of wealth. Right now, Helen's only objective is to boom. Oh, that fire ship got 2 of the heavy ships. Man, I love when I make that fire. If I had that fire ship and my enemy would have lost 2 of the heavies, I would have loved it. It's such a sight to enjoy. And when Helen was making that university, I did feel, why are you making it in front? Because unless now the only way Helen is going to protect that city is if he, or that university, is if he sends an army and starts getting these catapults down. In the end, he is going to lose that university. So it's never a good idea to have your economic buildings in front of your city. They should always be behind. It's much better to have, if at all you want to have any kind of building in front of you, it should be the military buildings, so that you can constantly raid your opponent and then garrison them back into the building. Mac seems to be doing really well here. He has kept Helen on his toes, but Helen still has an awesome economy. Not to say Mac does too. Mac had a better food income, but Helen just raided a lot of his ships. And not a lot of units from Helen's sides, and not a lot of, well, that's 5 archers, which are going to be, I hope, are going to be upgraded. Oh, it does not look like Mac wants to attack right now. He is going to attack in Enlightenment age. He is just going to reduce the city so that as soon as he reaches Enlightenment age, he's ready for that attack. An awesome move. And that's what you get when you so even though they have the similar wealth and knowledge income right now, you should remember that Mac started making his scholars a lot earlier in the game, because of which he had a lot more wealth accumulated by this time. So he is ready to go Enlightenment age within 5 minutes. While Helen, I don't think Helen is expecting that. A great move. And explorer by Helen. Another great move. So sometimes these arquebus immortals, I really like them because they have heavy infantry and their range attack. Although they're not good against the Roman infantry because Roman heavy infantry get a attack bonus versus other heavy infantry. Looks like Helen also wants to first reach Enlightenment age. Helen does not seem to be fortifying this. Like he's not making any towers, or he's not even spamming units right now. Oh, Mac is going to obviously reach, and this game, he is taking care of his economy. That's different. Does he play just differently when he's against Red Bull or what? Because against Red Bull, he was very reluctant to get a nice economy. He would always pay more attention on his armies. He would just forget that he has a commerce cap of 100 or 150 even in medieval or gunpowder age. But in this game, he seems to be having a nice economy. That's going to help him for sure. Does he have a better economy than Helen? He has a similar economy, I would say. And Helen is also ready to age to Enlightenment age. Now all right now rests on how quickly Mac can reduce the city to take advantage of that early Enlightenment. He is going for monarchy. Meanwhile, Helen has not got the operations upgrade yet. And remember, these are not Indians, these are Persians, so that means he will have to upgrade his gunpowder, his elephants. So there comes the operations upgrade from Helen. He definitely needs to get another stable. That's awesome. And he can click up Enlightenment right now. And that delay in clicking up can cost him the game. So there comes barracks, 2 stables. That's a great way to launch an offensive attack on your opponent. He has 3 of these. This looks like a nice army composition. He has the economy to back up, keeping the production of this army. Well, Helen also has a nice army, but he is going to be late in upgrading those elephants. And his army is nowhere as big as Mac's. Luckily, he has these 2 spies that he so badly wants to bribe Helen's elephants. There comes the Commerce 4 upgrade so that Helen can keep up with the production of those elephants. Elephants are very expensive. So in this game, Helen does not have horses, and he does not have monarchy. So he's not going to find those elephants cheap to make. So that's 129. So he has only 2 elephants right now. So there's not a lot of inflation, and it's costing him almost 130 food and 30 gold. You can see why those elephants are expensive. I do not see how Helen is going to fight them off. Oh, so this is one of the biggest mistake I kind of see it's the game's fault, because when you click on a reduced city, sometimes your units move there, but your siege moves there as well, and Helen calls the GG. An awesome play by Mac. Helen was raiding him on water, but I guess it was too late. Mac already had a big army, and Helen was a little too late on that. A great game overall. I felt both of them had a nice booming. Helen did a better booming than Mac, but what Mac was good at was his raids as well. He he kept raiding Helen's resources. Initially, he did not let him use relics for some time. He kept raiding the wool merchant, and that's what adds up into a victory eventually. When you are, oh, so this fur was not discovered all this time. That's so sad. Luckily, he still won. So in such games, when you are so evenly matched with your opponent, such minor raids like merchant raids, or get even taking out a single villager, a few caravans, that makes all the difference. So I guess you all enjoyed it, and I'll see you all next time.